Suburban Hiker, checking in. Day 3, my 500-mile walk. Here I am. Gonna start today's walk a little different. Not in my subdivision. I'm down here at the St. Joe River here in South Bend, Indiana. Public access site. The river behind me, can you see it in there? I don't know. I have 4 miles today. Did 3 miles yesterday, 3 miles the day before. Today, I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna follow the river walk. Well, part of it anyways. And then onto a bike path. I'm gonna go 2 miles one direction and then 2 miles back. Here we have a boat dock. Public access. Look at this. Pavement ends in the water. I would guess it does. In yesterday's video, I was talking about a little bit picking up litter, trash, cleaning up after yourself. I hate this kind of stuff. Come on, people, clean up after yourselves, will you? My Fitbit says I already have 2,678 steps in for today. Map My Walk app says I have 0.0 distance, 0 duration. Let's start the workout. And here we go. Great day for a walk. This is the little bit of path that's going to follow the river walk. Whoa, are you with me? Sorry about that. Man, oh man. Another great day for another good walk. 37 degrees. I'm geared up a little bit. I got my hat on. I got a t-shirt. Another shirt on top of that. Blue jeans and tennis shoes. Doesn't seem like a lot of clothes for 37 degrees, but I'm plenty warm so far. Cool thing about the river walk, a little bit of contour to the walk. It's not just a straight walk. It can be, but it comes down by the river a little bit. Picnic tables, and a couple benches to sit at. Check it out, look over the river, trees. Once everything greens up in the summer, it looks real pretty. See the footbridge. I'll talk about that here in just a second. That's a cool old bridge though. Built quite some time ago. Used to reside farther down the river and they moved it and put it here. I'm coming up to the footbridge here. I'm gonna spin this around. This is what I'm looking at from up here. I researched this online and Googled it a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly. But check this out. Built in 1880 something, I think 5. Built by P.E. Lane, 177 LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. And here's what it looks like. Look at this. Nice, sturdy. I researched this bridge. There's some details you can find online. Just Google it. It'll pop up. You'll find the data you're looking for. Oh my goodness. There we go. Can you see me still? It used to be a horse and carriage bridge. I remember that. I don't remember when they moved it. It used to be elsewhere. And they moved it here and made it a footbridge. Oh, hear it rattling. For my walk today, like I was saying, I'm gonna go east on the bike path down Darden. But I'm gonna go to the other side of the street and walk on the sidewalk because there's more direct sunlight on that side of the street. And I like walking in the sunlight. Helps keep me warm. Once I reach 2 miles, I'll cross the street and walk back on the bike path. It's kind of cool to get under the bridge. What they've done is they made an extra little sidewalk here. This is the bike path. Directly in front of me is a walk, but then it veers off to the left here, a little sidewalk that goes under the bridge. Look at this. Let's see what this sign says. Old Darden Road Bridge, restored 1997. New Darden Road Bridge, constructed 1999. St. Joe County, Indiana. Anyways, so this little path goes underneath the bridge to get you to the other side of the street and access that sidewalk. Interesting little side bit about walking underneath this bridge. I went on a hike one morning. It was about 9 in the morning, and as I was coming through, there was a body laying. I'm under the bridge now. He is laying up here, just laying there. I wasn't sure what had happened, but there was a body. And I stood there and I looked, and it's like, okay, is he moving at all? Is he, I don't know what's going on. Fortunately, he was not dead. It wasn't just a body, but it was a live body. Homeless fella. Maybe he wasn't homeless. Maybe he just needed somewhere to stay for the night. Who knows? Maybe he got drunk, couldn't make it all the way home, so he decided to crash. Either way, he went about his business, I went about mine, and I was glad that I didn't have to deal with a dead body. Here's a cool little feature here. Stairs going up. There's a nice little story about those stairs. An adventure hike that the granddaughter and I went on. I think she was 5 at the time. I'll talk about that in another video. Maybe I'll talk about that video tomorrow. We'll see. We went on a big long adventure one day. We were gone for I think 7 hours. And it involved those stairs, the bridge and the footbridge. It was all brand new terrain for me and her. We'd never been that way before. We didn't know anything about it. But it'll make for a neat video, I think. I'll retrace that adventure. Maybe I'll see if she wants to go with me. Here's a common feature of South Bend these days. The Lime bike. I guess the Lime bikes are an interesting little program. You can rent them and ride them around. Today's technology, I guess you download an app to your phone, you pay for it, you rent it. When your time's up, you just hop off and leave the bike stand. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of get tired of seeing bikes everywhere. A lot of times they end up in people's yards, knocked over, whatever. But I think by and large the community seems to take care of it. I don't know. I suppose if I needed a bike and there was one right there, I'd be pretty appreciative of the program. Anyhow, walking down the road, I'm about a half mile in. I need to pick up the pace. I'm kind of on a time crunch. I want to get back to the house by a certain time, want to get the miles in. But I'm on the north side of Darden Street, walking east. The bike trail is on the south side of Darden. That's a pretty cool trail. The bike path goes all the way from downtown South Bend, goes all the way up into Niles, Michigan. I walked up to Niles last summer on accident. I didn't know it went all that far. It went even farther than that than I went, but I stopped and turned back around. It was a 10-mile walk. The plan is to find a cool restaurant in Niles and get up early some morning. And the granddaughter, me and grandma hop on bikes and bike ride up to Niles and get breakfast. It's not a bad trip, really. It's a pretty cool route. There's a little more road traffic than I care for, but only when I'm following Darden. Once the bike path spreads off and goes north and south, then you're a little more removed from the throughway, and it follows I think it's Dixie Highway, US 933, but it's removed, so you don't hear a whole lot of road noise. One of the upsides to walking in a more populated area, the more heavily traveled thoroughfares, is that if something goes awry, help is pretty near at hand. You can wave someone down, flag them down if you need to. There's not a whole lot that can go awry, but you may run out of water, overheat, dehydrate yourself. I've come close to doing that a few times. Been in a bad way, get all bent out of shape. Super hot days. I walk farther than I expected to, get farther away from the house than I intended. Don't have enough water. Screws with your thought process. It makes everything a little goofy. Get a little disoriented. Decision making is a little skewed. Make sure you stay hydrated when you're out and about, even when you're not out and about. That hydration is pretty important. Some more nice blue skies today. A few small clouds forming up. I think it's supposed to change tomorrow, the weather, whatnot, but it's a great day to be outside. I love being outside. I always have. Growing up, I was outside all the time. I had 3 older brothers. We spent a lot of time outside, a lot of time in the woods, a lot of time in nature. That's a big part of why I like being outside, just being in nature. Time slows down. There's not so much a rush. We grew up on the river in Elkhart. Our backyard was the river. We'd run all up and down it. Used to go fishing just about every day. In the winter, the river would freeze. Our dogs would run out across it. I always worried they'd fall in. Of course, being young and dumb, we used to go out on the river, out on the ice. I always thought maybe we'd fall in too. Of course, as dumb as we were, we used to try to break the ice. Who knows? We used to hang on a branch that would hang over the river, bounce up and down, try and get the ice to break. I don't think we really considered what would happen if we had fallen through. Most likely we would have died. But we didn't. We survived. Dad's big fear about us being on the river all the time is he was afraid we were going to fall in and drown. He didn't know we used to swim in it almost every day. We used to jump off the bridge over there, Thomas Street Bridge in Elkhart, Indiana, by the Elkhart General Hospital. Used to jump off there, swim. We used to float down Christiana Creek, float down the river all the way to our house, doing crazy stuff. I'm surprised we all survived. Also spent a lot of time in the woods. One of my grandparents lived in Culver, Indiana, and behind her property was U.S. Memorial Forest on I think it's State Road 17. It was a pine forest. Man, we had amazing times in that woods. On the back side of the woods were more farmlands and natural wooded area. There was a beaver dam, great big water feature. Lily pads galore. Oh, I'm doing all this childhood reminiscing. I'm quickly coming up onto mile number 1. I'm at 0.97. Time flies when you're not paying attention. We used to go fishing in the beaver dam. We used to hunt frogs. Man, they had a lot of bullfrogs. We'd knock them out with a stick, kill them, eat them. We never just destroyed animals for the sake of destroying them. We ate them. But we also...
1 minute and 49 seconds. Split pace 21 minutes 45 seconds per mile.
1 mile done for the day. Look at that. Zipping right along. Heck yeah. That was mile number 7 for my 500-mile walk. Now I'm going into mile number 8. As soon as I finish mile number 8, I'll turn around and head back and get miles 9 and 10. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, talking about being destructive kids. We used to do anything and everything to get dirty. We'd build more forts. We'd have mud fights. We used to go swim. We weren't supposed to swim out there, so we pretended to tell them. They fell in on accident, crossing a log. I suspect Dad knew better. Mom probably knew better too. I was fairly young, so I didn't do a lot of the things that my brothers did, but I did my share. There was an old stock pond on the property we used to fish. We'd go down there. We didn't have any bait. There were so many fish in there you didn't need bait. You could throw a piece of grass in the water and a fish would attack it. We used to catch all kind of fish in there. There were some lunkers too. They had huge catfish. My brother Johnny caught one, took about 25 minutes to reel in. Dad thought he was screwing around. No, it was a big fish. I think Dad even jumped in the water to help grab it. Surprised it didn't pull Johnny in the water. We weren't that old. Oh, time to cross the street here. Oh, here's a break in the traffic. Slight jog. And now I'm on the bike path. Look at that. Detour, sidewalk closed. That's okay. I know where it's closed at. We're not going to go that far. Here's the bike path going south off of Darden. This thing goes all the way through to Notre Dame. I've walked on there too. I'll probably make a video walking Notre Dame. It's a fantastic campus, great place to walk. Anyhow, like I was talking, growing up outside in the woods, on the river, love that stuff. We used to go camping too, up in High Banks, Michigan. I think I was 6, 7 at the time. I don't remember much of it, but it was a good time for sure. I hope to go camping again. I stopped doing all that stuff. I don't hunt. I don't fish anymore. I stopped fishing when I turned, I don't know, 17, 18. Really started playing a lot of music, guitar. I'll talk about that stuff in other videos too. I'm not much for hunting. I don't really have a need to. I can do it if ever it gets to be a need. Well, then I can do it. I remember how to do all that stuff. I used to do trapping too. I used to trap the St. Joe River. we'd trap out at the beaver dam there in Culver also. I was never really a fan of cleaning the animals. Again, we weren't wasteful. We did use the stuff we killed. I'm not a fan of killing just to kill stuff. To each their own, I guess. I mean, if you're gonna use the product, well, have at it. But if you're killing just to kill something, shoot a target. Shoot at a pop can. Do they even make pop cans anymore? I don't know. I don't drink the stuff. Anyways, I'm hoping to go camping again someday. That's what these hikes are gonna lead to. Maybe. I'm a daydreamer. I have big dreams. I mentioned in yesterday's video I'd like to have acreage and a cabin in the middle of that acreage, a wooded lot, and that would be fantastic. I'll make my own trails. I'll even make my own woods if I have to. Although at 50 years old I'm running out of time, right? It'd be awesome to have that. I like solitude. I like being in nature. Although I don't mind being in the middle of society too. But it does get a little hectic. And I do like my alone time. I mentioned daydreaming and having a cabin in the woods. There doesn't have to be a cabin in the woods. I really don't want to buy a cabin in the woods. I want to make a cabin in the woods. I want to make my own. That would be cool. I've seen it done. I've studied it. That's the amazing thing of the internet. There's more than just cats and memes on the internet. As a matter of fact, the internet pretty much provides you access to the entirety of human knowledge from the beginning of time to right now. One way or another, all that data is out there. Of course, with that is also a lot of data that's not necessarily so useful. I suppose it passes time, allows people to get distracted, clear their thoughts, teach their own. Again, I try not to judge. I just kind of do what works for me. Here's a cool little stretch, a spot of land, somebody's backyard. This is coming off the bike path going south as it nears Cleveland Road. There goes the biker now. How cool. Glad to know I'm not the only one using this today. This bike path in South Bend is really a pretty great feature. I'll talk about that someday too. I like it. There's a cool little creek. Runs through these people's yards. Look at that. They built a little diversion. Bring it into their backyard. How cool is that? That's what I'm talking about. I'd like to have one of those in my backyard. Got a couple downed trees over here. Let them cross it. You can see a footbridge they built over there. I don't think you can see it, but how cool. Here I am, 1.73 miles. I decided to turn around, head back north. The road noise is getting pretty heavy. I figured the camera might pick up too much of that. It probably already is. I'll get a little extra steps in and even it out to 4 miles by walking on the river path, the river walk, back up there on Riverside Drive. Nice little sight from the bike path. Construction on a new hotel. I've built my share of those in my day. I have done work in carpentry and construction. A lot of vinyl siding, framing, shingles, exteriors, Whatever. I like building stuff. That's all a part of liking to be outside too. I'll do construction work just because I like to be outside. I don't much care for working out in the cold, but I've done it. Springtime's a cool time to work outside, except for when the job site's muddy and your feet get stuck. That does a number on your joints. Feels like it's pulling your hips out of their sockets. I'm closing in on mile number 2 for today. I'm at 1.97. Man, this time's going by. Where are we at? 9:08. I'll be sure to hold the phone up so you can hear the register. I'm not going to show it to you or try to show it to you. The camera doesn't pick up the screen and there's nothing to see. But you'll hear it. You can celebrate with me. Another mile down.
Total time 40 minutes. Split pace 18 minutes 12 seconds per mile.
There we go. Another mile down. Of course, I chatted through the announcement, but whatever. Whew. So that's mile number 8 out of 500. Man, oh man. We're almost there. 492 more miles to go. That's not bad. We'll make it in no time. Heck yeah. I don't do a whole lot of carpentry work anymore. Construction work. Again, I've been working in trailers, building RVs. But I still get time outside. Doing yard work, that helps a lot. To be outside, mowing the lawn, edging, weed eating, trimming the bushes. A lot of shrubs around the house. Of course, we have a birch tree that sheds branches about as much as our dogs shed their fur. We're out picking up sticks every week. Of course, cleaning up dog poop too. But I'm outside. That's not so bad. You know, I work on the pond. That pond we have is really cool. You know, it's about 18 foot long, 8 foot wide, kind of a kidney bean shape. Got a waterfall. Nice little filtration system. Homemade. Nothing store-bought except for the pump. The pump that pumps the water from the bottom of the pond up into my biofilter. I expect I'll make a video about that someday. It's pretty cool. However, the dogs do tend to ruin the plantings around the pond and everything else in the yard. We have bad dogs. They have no concept of personal space. But dogs are awesome, even when they're not. You know what I mean? We spend time outside with our dogs too. We take them for walks. They don't walk so well for the first half mile. Once they start to get tired out, they do better. Really, we just need to take the time and train them up. But we get busy. Everybody always has something to do. So we take them out walking when we can. We have a fenced in yard so they can spend time out there barking at everybody that walks by. And boy, do they ever. Of course, everybody's dogs bark at everybody when they walk by. Nobody seems to get too upset about it. All right. Turned back west on Darden's bike path. Let me spin this camera around, give you a look at what I see. Pretty much a straight shot. Very little elevation. Maybe a 10-foot elevation. Makes for a nice walk though. Little bit of traffic, but you can zone that out. One of the ideas I am formulating to spend more time outside is to actually spend more time outside. I'm gonna start planning longer hikes, overnight camping trips, backpacking trips, probably just one-nighters. I haven't done a whole lot of that in my life because I'm also a performing musician. I play in bands and mostly play on the weekends. And it's hard to go camping on a Saturday night when you're playing a show. I love playing shows, I really do. But I've been doing it for 30 years. 30 years performing musician. I think it's time I'm going to scale back on the performing side and spend more time doing other things. I've sacrificed a whole mess of time to that music stuff. I need to work on balance in my life, really. I mean, I didn't have to spend all that time on music, but that's the way I operate. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. When I start doing something, I dive in, and that's what I'm doing. I need to concentrate a little more on balance. So that's what I'm going to try to do with hiking and camping, backpacking. I'm going to scale back the performances and spend more time doing other stuff. It's not really just the performances though. Really, as a performing musician, the performance only lasts 3 or 4 hours. The actual performing part of it. And that's probably not even a tenth of the time involved. The performance. There's a lot of promotion, hanging posters, marketing, booking the shows, scheduling them, learning songs, learning material, keeping in touch with everybody. It's a lot of fun. It really is. I love that stuff. That's why I've done it for so long. I've done so much of it. It's a good time. But it has also restricted the amount of time I get to do other stuff. So I'm going to scale back. I'm not going to perform quite as much. I'm going to spend more time outside, hiking, walking. Heck yeah. There's telephone poles and phone lines I was talking about in the last video. The botch up scenery, lots of signs. Again, one of the cool aspects of subdivision walking, not much in the way of signs, telephone poles, or telephone lines. School bus. A little shadier on this side of the street. That's why I started on the other side. More sunshine. There's a cool little wooded area. Part of the Isaac Newton League. I've seen some wildlife in there. I've never been in there. They have trails. There's an annual fee to be a member. Maybe someday I'll do that. Hike around in there. It's quite a few acres. I researched. Ooh, I see some deer in there. You won't see them. Not in the camera. But I see them out there. How cool. A little bit of blowdown in there. We had some pretty heavy storms a couple years back. Well, probably 10 years now. But this is one of the areas that got hit with a tornado. It dodged our house. We didn't have any damage. There were a couple houses in the neighborhood that did get damaged. We were without power for 4 or 5 days. It's kind of ironic and the exact type of luck the oldest daughter has. Those storms came through on her 16th birthday and we had lost power. So we spent our birthday eating birthday cake in front of the fireplace. looking at all of her new electronics. New stereo system, television, computer. No power. They look good by candlelight though. But that's the type of luck she has. She's always been that way. Poor kid. There's some more of that blowdown I was talking about. Some old trees in there, knocked down. It's warmed up a notch. We're up to 42 degrees. One of the things I noticed when I was putting together the video for yesterday is you could see my breath a little bit. Sure didn't seem that cold out. Doesn't seem that cold out now. I suspect 42 degrees. It's probably colder than most refrigerators. But like I said, when you're walking and your body's keeping warm, it's not so bad out. I have a little bit of sweat under my hat. I'll be glad when I can stop wearing the hat. I get tired of wearing it. My head doesn't get cold. That's not the way the heat loss works. What happens is that my entire body gets cold. My head itself does not get cold. So to keep my body warm, I wear a hat. Of course, I flip it up and roll it around. It's kind of like a thermostat. If it gets too sweaty, I flip it inside out. Doesn't bother me, whatever. I've never been concerned if it's inside out. People tell me it's inside out. I'm not sure why they would be concerned if it's inside out or not. Worry about their own hats. That's what I do. I worry about my hat. Not so much concerned with anyone else's hat. Here I am at mile 298. Quickly approaching the footbridge again. Oh, 299. I'll get it ready this time. That way we don't miss it.
Total distance 3 miles. Total time 58 minutes and 51 seconds. Split pace 18 minutes 51 seconds per mile.
There you go. 3 miles in. Only one more to go for this trip. And I'm back on the footbridge. Here, check this out. Little sign up there. Let me see if I can get that. Heck yeah. You know, one cool thing about this bridge, I have a lot of friends on Facebook. I've seen all kinds of wedding photos, graduation photos, even bands made videos on this bridge. Cracks me up. It's a neat feature though. Pretty popular sometimes. I like it. Back on the part of the path that becomes the river walk alongside the St. Joe River. Can you see it there in the background? Yeah. Sad thing about the river, it's gotten pretty polluted over the years. They suggest you don't swim in it. People still do. They kayak in it, fish in it. I don't know if they eat the fish. I wouldn't. Not anymore. Back in the day, 35 years ago, when I was younger, it was not so bad. Now, it could use some help. You would think that there would be some ways to take care of that. Oddly enough, putting a little pond in my backyard and with the stream, I've learned quite a bit about water purification. I understand how it works. I would think you could do a lot of what I do on a larger scale. I don't know. We just all kind of need to pick up after ourselves as best we can. Keep from trashing the world. We're not saving the planet. We're saving ourselves. The planet's not going to go anywhere for a long time. And when it does, it'll go on its own. I suspect we'll be long gone by the time that happens. Big cool tree. Sun behind it. You know, South Bend really has done a pretty good job with this river walk. A lot of people use it. And as all the trees bloom and grow leaves and the bushes and shrubs, you know, it's a real cool looking backdrop for a walk or a bike ride. I've done both. I'll ride bike on the trail sometimes, but mostly I walk. I don't do a whole lot of bike riding. When the granddaughter wants to ride, we'll ride, but most of the time we hike and walk. But this bike path is a fantastic trail for people to get away, even just for a little bit, walk their dogs, walk their significant others. Here's a couple dogs right now. Say hi to the dogs. Say hi to the dogs. Hello. I love seeing dogs out walking their people. That's a good responsible dog. It walks their people. It's an important part of being a well-adjusted dog, and to raise well-adjusted people. Maybe that's the problem with the world. Not enough people have dogs teaching them how to behave. Little city sewer drain. A large part of why our river is screwed up. We tend to just let all our streets and sanitation flow into the river. Oh well. We'll figure it out. Or we won't. Either way. I'm still out doing the best I can. You guys are out doing the best you can. And if you're not, well, try a little harder. Do the best you can. Talking about doing the best you can to help clean up. Pretty cool. Our subdivision has a Facebook page, and every so often someone will post talking about loose trash and litter in the neighborhood, and they will all schedule a time to get together and go clean up. I think they're doing it this Saturday, as a matter of fact. 7-8 families. They all meet up and plan a day of cleaning up the neighborhood. Like I said, I try to pick stuff up when I'm walking, depending on how close I am to the house, or I'll pick up trash and put it in someone's trash can. A lot of people's trash cans are near enough. You just hop up in there and toss it there. It's not hard to clean up. You just gotta think about it a little bit. Oh, coming up on the intersection of Riverside Drive and Cleveland Road. I'm gonna turn around and head back. I only have about a half a mile left on this particular walk. You know, I talk about being a daydreamer. I love being a daydreamer. Big ideas, cool stuff to do. I still daydream of hiking, endurance hikes, Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, Continental Divide Trail. I really hope to someday be able to hike those. I'd like to hike the whole country. Go up into Utah, Montana. I want to hike out there. Of course, girlfriend wants to go Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, the New England area. I'd like to go hike up there too. The Appalachian Trail goes through part of that. Maybe I can get her to hike that part of the trail with me. I suspect before I actually ever do a through hike on any of those big trails, I'll probably end up section hiking certain areas, weekends. Maybe I'll get to a point in life where I can take a week and go during the weekday. There's always less people out there during the weekdays. I'll figure it all out. Now that I've made up my mind that that's what I want to do, that's usually what happens. Figuring out how to do stuff isn't always the hard part for me. It's figuring out what to do. That's where I struggle. Trying to figure out what I want to do in life. As far as a career, I'm 50 years old. I still haven't figured out what I want to do in life. I know there are things I like to do, but once I try to do that for a living, it's not so much fun anymore. If I could wake up tomorrow and be whatever I wanted to be for a living, I don't know what it would be. That's the problem. If you could be anything, if you could wake up tomorrow and you were anything you wanted to be, ultimately I just want to be independently wealthy so that I can travel the world and do stuff, see stuff. I don't want to buy a mansion. I don't need a jet. I probably wouldn't even get another car. I'll drive this car I have until it's broke down and dead. I just want to be able to go hiking, go vacation, see the world, see the sights, live life. I keep hoping someday I'll wake up and know what I want to be, but I haven't gotten there yet. So I'll just keep doing what I do and trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So how cool is that? I just talked to that guy real quick. He didn't want to be on camera for any conversation, but he's walking around, got a bucket, picking up litter. He lives across the street. Says he comes out every now and again and just picks up stuff. How cool. We were just talking about doing what you can. That's one way to do it. Just go every now and then and pick up some stuff you see. Throw it away. How awesome. Oh, check it out. 3.97. I got 0.03 miles to go to my 4-mile mark for the day. Almost there. It says 4.01.
Total distance 4.01 miles. Total time 1 hour 21 minutes and 30 seconds. Split pace 22 minutes 30 seconds per mile.
There we go. 4 miles for the day. How easy was that? Only 490 more miles to go on my 500-mile walk. I'm gonna wrap it up, hop in my car, get back to the house, do a wrap-up video. Fitbit says 11,204 steps.
Workout paused. Workout finished.
There you go. 4.88 miles. So there you have it. Another 4 miles down. Actually 4.88. That's a little more. That's almost a whole extra mile on accident. For my 500-mile walk, I've done 10 miles so far. I only have 490 miles left to go. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow along. We'll keep going. We still have 490 miles to go. I have plenty more to talk about. Any questions you have, leave them. Leave questions, comments. I'll answer everybody all I can. Check back tomorrow and we'll go on another walk. Heck yeah.